Welcome back for Chapter 4. We're going to continue on, starting with slide number 21. And this is just talking about the growing ethnic markets in the United States especially. The next slide has some statistics that are taken from the book but are pretty interesting. I think the Hispanic population, is interesting to see that the Hispanic population, the consumer market, is now larger than all but 13 world economies. That is very impressive. So if you're eliminating that or any of these other ethnic markets, you're missing out on a huge potential and possibility for additional revenue and income. So you can just see what the stats are here on this slide. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on them, but just something for you to look at and refer to. Now, focusing in on the Hispanic Americans, the fact that many Hispanics will choose brands that reflect their native values and culture is something that marketers really need to focus on and concentrate on. Nearly 60% of Hispanic Americans are of Mexican descent. Puerto Rican Americans make up just under 10% of Hispanics, and other groups, which include those from Dominicans, Central America, South Americans, Cubans, each account for less than 5% of all the Hispanic Americans in the population. The African American population, you see nearly half of all African Americans are between 18 and 49 years of age. Do you see also the last bullet where the salary, the earning potential, has dramatically increased over the years, whereas in 2012, nearly 3 million African Americans were earning more than $75,000 per year annually. That's a big boost compared to what it had been previously in the 80s and in the 90s especially. The Asian Americans represent approximately 6% of the United States population, the total U.S. population, but they also have the highest average family income of all the groups, and that average family income is $68,780. 52% of all Asian Americans over the age of 25 have at least a bachelor's degree. Many have higher levels of education as well. And there are 7 key groups of Asian Americans. They're broken down into 7 key groups. Chinese, Filipino, Japanese, Vietnamese, Korean, Indian, and Pakistani. Okay, moving on to the next section. The 4 economic areas of greatest concern to marketers are consumers' income, purchasing power, inflation, and recession. Now, consumers' income. Income fell the most in the South, West, the Southern United States, Western United States, and in Florida, actually. And these areas had the largest declines in home values as well as housing construction. So the housing market is what had the big push in those areas as to why income levels fell more significantly there than other places. When jobs are scarce, many people have to accept the fact that they have to get a job where they would have to have a pay cut. To keep their current jobs, they might have to take a job someplace else for less money. The fact that a lot of jobs are available, but there are many people without jobs that are unwilling to take some of these jobs. For example, places like department stores are constantly looking to hire people, but it's not something that they would truly want to do with their time. But it does have an impact, obviously, on the consumer income. All right, you can see here what purchasing power is all about. What I want you to also understand is that increased standards of living are a function of purchasing power. When income is high, relative to the cost of living. So cost of living is the cost of you obviously living in a certain area, the expenses, the housing, things like that. So when income is high compared to the cost of living, people have more discretionary income. Discretionary income is just a fancy way of saying spending money. Right? So in other words, excuse me, high income, lower cost of living, that equals more spending money. Okay, and that spending money, that discretionary money, that is the money that is spent after your bills have been paid and everything. So these are things that are spent on what's considered non-essential items, fun things, entertainment, things that are not necessary. Okay, you can see here what inflation, the definition of inflation is. Now, in times of low inflation, businesses seeking to increase their profit margins can do so only by increasing their efficiency. The more efficient they get in making the products and supplying their goods and services, the more profit and the more money they can make. So they're saving it on their end, on the production side of things, rather than raising the price or increasing costs to the consumer. The buyer, like you and I, consumers, will not pay more for a product than the value that they place on it. So no matter what the price of the product is, if you feel that the value that you place on this product does not meet the price, then you don't buy it. Okay, only when the price and the value meet do consumers want to buy the product. Okay, recession. Now, December of 2007, it was when the start of the collapse of inflated housing prices triggered what became the global recession of 2007 to 2009. Some people will argue those dates. Some people will say it's 2007 to 2013 even, or 14. There's some that argue that we're still in a recession. So there's no clear-cut, definite time that people agree upon when this ended. The book, I believe, refers to it as 2007 to 2009. The declining stock market, increase in unemployment as unemployment is growing, collapsing home prices as the value of houses drop. All of those things have taken a toll on consumer confidence and influence all kinds of purchasing decisions. Whether or not people buy, if they're losing money in the stock market, then they get more concerned, they try to save more money. Things just kind of snowball. Instead of getting better, they tend to get worse. All right, basic versus applied research. You can see here that, excuse me, basic research is all about proving a theory. Okay, proving a theory that you came up with, finding out whether or not that theory is true or whether it is false. Applied research is coming up with either new products or trying to improve upon the products or make changes to the products that you currently have. Companies attempting to innovate often limit their searches to areas that they are already familiar with, but then there are some companies who look outside the box and are willing to go into areas that they currently are not in because they see the potential there. These are good ideas. You just have to make sure that it's something that is feasible and you're able to do. That there's not too much risk involved with that. All right, but these here are 6 steps to trying to stimulate innovation. And the company that actually leads the way with innovation, a great example of this would be Google. Google does a great job with reaching out to people, having their employees and their families actually come up and generate ideas for new products or altering current products, and that's where a lot of their design and implementation comes from. All right, political and legal factors in regards to marketing. Business needs to have government regulations to protect innovators of new technology. the interests of society in general, really. Protect one business from other businesses, and also protect consumers. The government, in turn, needs businesses because of taxes. Businesses will help generate money through taxes, and the government can benefit from that as well. Every aspect of the marketing mix is subject to laws. They're subject to restrictions, and it's the responsibility of the marketing manager specifically to understand and conform to those laws while creating new programs, new products, and new marketing mixes to accomplish their objectives. Okay, so you have to definitely fall under those laws and regulations. You have to play by the rules. Just a couple things here. I'm not going to go over each of these. What I want you to do is, at this point, to make sure you're just skimming over these. You don't have to know these in much detail, but just at least have the idea of what some of these laws and legislations are there to cover. Okay, that's the gist of that one. State laws. State laws don't have impact on any other states. It's just information, legislation, I should say, that is passed in your state that is affecting, whether it be business or actions or whatever within your state. You can see here that there are just a couple examples: Oregon, California, North Carolina, some there. Some states have really crazy laws as well, but these are just some examples of business type laws. I would definitely know the difference between these three. Consumer Product Safety Commission, that's the organization, the agency that is created to keep us safe from having faulty or unsafe products that are in our houses. Okay, things that we use within our houses. The FDA, Food and Drug Administration, is there to protect us from anything harmful in regards to food and drug products. And the FTC, a Federal Trade Commission, this is the one that helps consumers stay safe, and even businesses from each other, safe from each other, in regards to the competition aspect of business on the commerce side of things. Okay, you have the Bureau of Competition, the Bureau of Consumer Protection. Bureau of Competition makes sure that everything is up and up in regards to the business side of things. The Bureau of Consumer Protection are the things that is the agency, I should say, that provides us with information so that we have an understanding of what's going on. Communicates with us about times when companies get hacked, like when Target's credit card resources got hacked. They let us know about that, so they keep us informed. Okay, again, in regards to legislation, I'm just going to have you look up the legislation and be familiar with the legislation yourself, so make sure you are familiar with the CAN-SPAM Act and the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. The competitive environment encompasses the number of competitors a firm must face, the size of the competitors, and the degree of interdependence within the industry. Management has very little control over the competitive environment. You can't control your competition. All right, you have no control over the competition. You can only react to what they do. Technological advances can change who the competitors are, can influence the competitors as well. Many foreign competitors are considering the United States to be a target, in essence, for them to be able to, a target market for them to come in and take more consumers because of the online presence that they can have. We're going to talk more about the global competition in Chapter 5. And that brings us to the end of Chapter 4. Look soon for videos for Chapter 2 as well. Just a reminder that Friday the 5th, starting at 7:15 to 7:30, we'll be going over Chapters 3 and 4 for the test.